Okay, so Ezu tam, zok the Mishnah, Ezu tam, Ezu muad. What's a tam and what's a muad? Right? Muad, kol she'idu by shloisha yomim. A muad is if they became a muad for 3 days, meaning 3 different days. Meaning, according to this shita, if a shor has a bad day, right, and it goes one guy, then it goes another guy, and it goes another guy, that's not enough to make it a muad because he's having a bad day. I don't know if that part is true. I'm just thinking that's the rationale. Right? He's having a bad day. Get him a good night's sleep with some more food, and maybe they'll behave better. But on 3 separate days, that's not enough. The tam, the tam is when um, he goes back for 3 days. Meaning, it's not you can't. It's not that it's just sitting in the barn with nobody there for 3 days. Oh, now it's back to tam. It has to be presented with the same situation 3 times, and then it goes back to tam, which is, by the way, the same thing for humans with tshuva, right? It's not a real tshuva. It's not a real tshuva until you are presented with the. I mean, it's a real tshuva, but the ultimate tshuva is if you're presented with the same situation and you don't give in, right? So anyway, so that's the Tanakam. Dear Rabbi Yehuda. I'm sorry, that's not the Kam, it's Rabbi Yehuda. A muad is if he says 3 times, he becomes a muad 3 times, 3 times in a day. Doesn't have to be doesn't have to be 3 different days. The tam, and what's a tam? If the kids are messing around with it and it doesn't gore them, right, then it's no longer a muad, right? Because if you can't get annoyed by kids, then that means you're not a muad, right? Okay, so basically, there's 2 machlokes in the Mishnah. How it becomes a muad? Either 3 times in a day, that's Rameir, or 3 different days, that's Rabbi Yehuda. And how does it go back to being a tam? According to Rabbi Yehuda, it has to be presented with the same situation 3 times and it doesn't gore. And according to Rameir, it's just the kids have to annoy it, and it doesn't go after them. Okay, so Zog Gemara, my time with Rabbi Yehuda. What does Rabbi Yehuda say? It's to be time 3 days. Amar Abayah Tmol Chad. Like it says, I know that Yishar Nagahu. It says, or it becomes known that it's a Shar Nagach Mitmol Shilshaim below Yishmerenu Balav. Right? So Tmol is 1, Mitmol is Trey, Shilshaim is Tlasa. The Lo Yishmerenu Balav and the Bailam are not watching it. Asan the Negicha Revius. That's telling you the Negicha Revius. So basically, he holds 3 times tam, meaning if it gores 3 times, it's a tam. 4th time, muad. Right? Rava Amar Tmol, Mitmol is chad. He doesn't hold you can darshan that mem. Right? So that's 1. Shilshaim is Trey is 2. Below Yishmerenu ha'idna, and he's not watching it now. Chayiv, he is chayiv. So therefore, according to Rava, it's 2 times tam, 3rd time muad. Right? Big difference here. Is it 3 strikes? According to baseball, obviously, Rabbi Horowitz is not here tonight, so we will represent him with a baseball marshal, right? It's 3 strikes, you're out, or 2 strikes and you're out. So the first Abaya holds it's 3 strikes, and then the 4th strike you have till the 4th strike. According to Rava, your 3rd strike you're already a mood. Okay, for Rameir my time Rameir my timer, and why does Rameir hold that it's 3 times, not 3 different days? The Tanya Amar Rameir onto Amar Aleph now Richak Nigichaisav Chayiv if there's a distance between its gorings, meaning it does it on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it's chayiv. So kiruv negaisav like kosher kain. If it's going to be 1, 2, and 3 on a Sunday, isn't it a kal v'chaimer? Right? Which again, I don't know if I understand that kal v'chaimer. I mean, maybe he was having a bad day. Right? He's saying if 3 consecutive days or 3 days, it's considered a muad. So 3 in one day is for sure considered a muad. Why? Maybe he's just having a bad day. So I don't know if that's I don't know if I understand. I mean, I definitely know I don't understand. Okay, so, but anyway, Amrulay, second line down, Amrulay Zava Techia. We have a raya from Zava. Right? This came up many times, but we'll just chazer over exactly what the story is with Zava. Our women nowadays, even though we call them nidas, are not nidas, they're zavas. They're treated as zavas. Right? The way a zava goes is basically the way it is you have 7 nida days and then 11 zava days. And then 7 nida days, it's an 18-day cycle. 7 nida, we're not going with machlokes rishonim Gershon, okay? Just relax. All right, we're going with the simple 7, 11, 7, 11, 11. Yeah, that's an easy way to remember it. 7, 11. Not for you, Rachman. You don't have 7, 11s. Yeah, so 7, 11, 7, 11, 7, 11, right? So now what goes on in those 11 days? So woman gets a period, she's a nida for 7 days, fine. Then she goes to the mikvah. That's the way it's supposed to be. If in those 11 days she sees dam in one day, then she becomes a zava ketana, which means she needs one clean day. She goes to the mikvah. If she sees 2 days, she also needs one clean day. If she sees on 3 different days, then she becomes a zava gedolah and she needs 7 clean days. Right? So you see that it's not, she has to see dam on 3 different days. If she sees 3 times in one day, that does not make her a zava gedolah. Right? Whatever happens on one day is counted as one day. So you see, l'chayr, that's a kasha on Rameir, right? Rameir is saying that 3 in a day is better than 3 on 3 different days, right? You see that from Zava, it's not like that. 3 separate days is much stronger than 3 in one day. Right? So Amrulay, they said them Zava Techiyah. Zava will prove that we're correct. Sharich Gariyasav Tmeya, if her seeings are distanced from each other, meaning one a day, then she's Tame. Kirva Riyaseh Tahira. If they're close together, meaning they're all in one day, she's going to be Tahira, meaning she's Tame for one day as opposed to 7 clean days. So you see that there's something much worse about 3 consecutive days or 3 separate days. He says, when this refers to a man who sees Zav, he has most of the halachas are similar to Zava. There's no cycle, obviously, by a man. It's just if a man has some sort of gonorrhea emission, whatever that is. So if he sees for 3 days in a row, so then so if he sees 2 times, he needs 7 clean days. 3 times he has to bring a carbon, and those times can be in all in one day, right? Meaning a zava from a lady, she needs to be 3 different days. A man who has some sort of emission from his aver can see if he sees twice in a day or 3 times in a day, he's going to need 7 clean days. So that seems to prove Rameir, right? So the pasuk tali the zav with riyas. That's a zav b'yamim, and a zav is with days. So that's what Rameir is saying. You want to bring a raya from zava? I got a raya from zav, right? So Gemara asks me, "Hi, dai bezois lemute zava miriyas." So why are you saying that the bezois excludes a zava from riyas, meaning that the zois says only a male sees multiple times in a day becomes tamei, right? But a female, it has to be on different days. Ema. Maybe it goes the other way around. Maybe it's telling you that a zav, that it won't work if a zav sees on different days. Right? Meaning, if a zav sees a few times in one day, he becomes a zav. If he sees on 3 consecutive days, then he doesn't become a zav. Maybe that's what the pasuk is telling you. So what it says, it says if something comes out of him for a zachar and a nekeva, makish zachar and a nekeva, we compare a zachar to a nekeva, ma nekeva b'yamim, just like the female. It has to be for her to become a zachar gedolah. It has to be on separate days. Zachar b'yamim, so too a zachar also has to be. Okay, so Gemara says, well, do the opposite. The lakish nekeva zachar. Why don't you compare a female to a male? Ma zachar b'riyas. Maybe just like a zachar is with riyas, so nekeva is also with riyas. So our answer is Hamir Rachmana of Zayis. The Torah excludes it from Vizais. Okay, so Umari Isa, who says you should look at it that way? Maybe spin it the other way, right? Meaning, who says it's coming to exclude a Zav from Yomim, right? Maybe it should be the opposite. So the Gemara answers, Mistabra Kai Berias Mamai Rias. If the pasuk is talking about Rias, meaning amounts of time that it gets seen, so then it's going to exclude Rias. Kai Berias Mamayit Yomim, but if you're talking about Rias, you're going to exclude days. One has nothing to do with the other. Meaning, once you're dealing with amounts of seeings, even if it happens in one day, so then you're going to exclude a female. The pasuk's talking about Rias in a day, so you're going to exclude a female from that, right? That's what the Vizais is referring to, is this and not the female. Right? We're not going to say that it's coming to exclude from consecutive days, because that's not what the pasuk's referring to. Okay, so anyway, so that's the machlokes, whether it's 3 times in one day or on 3 different days. Fine. Tana Rabbana. Ezu muad, what's considered a muad? Kol sheyidu by shloisha yomim. If he's a muad for 3 days, the tam sheyu tinoikus mamashim bovein and a. And how do you come back to being a tam? If the kids are hacking it and there's no negicha. Divrei Rabbi Yosef. Shimon Aimer, muad is kol sheyidu by shalosh pa'amim. The loy amru shloisha yomim ela chazara b'vad. He says, Rav Shimon says,
so making it back to be a tam has nothing to do with the Bezdin?
With the Bezdin?
Meaning, to make it a mu'ah, they're testifying in Bezdin, right?
Correct. Well, we're not up to that yet, but yeah, yes.
And then when it goes back to being a tam, that's nothing to do with that's not going to Bezdin?
As far as I know, it doesn't say you have to go back to Bezdin. Well, somebody has to.
Child protective
who's keeping
services.
tally? Who's keeping score here?
It's child protective services.
Animal protective services. But who's keeping score? I'm assuming what would happen is that if the animal gored again, right, and then they go to Bezdin, so the owner will have to prove that it went back to mu'ud status. Right? Somebody's going to have to testify in Bezdin about something, right? I mean, Bezdin comes after him and says, "Hey, we have testimony 3 times that this animal's a mu'ud." So he says, "Yeah, but it went back. The kids played with it, and it didn't gore them." So I say, "Okay, prove it." No, I would think that's how it has to be.
Well, nobody came to Bezdin in the last 3 days.
Nobody came to Bezdin.
Nobody came to Bezdin to say that it gored in the last 5 days, 6 days. So the last 5 days, nobody came. So it's back to being a top. It's back to reverting to the other way.
Well, maybe he had maybe he locked it up for a few days.
It has to meet the criteria of Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir.
Right, but you need to have some sort of proof to it, right? The guy, you're not going to trust the owner by saying, he says, "Oh yeah, I had my kids hang out on top of the cow and it didn't gore him," right? Anyway,
I mean, part of this is based on the machlekes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir and what shmira a tam and a mu'ah need. Rabbi Yehuda holds that a tam doesn't need the shmira, that a mu'ah needs a shmira me'ula. Rabbi Meir holds the opposite. Tam needs a shmira me'ula, and a mu'ah needs a shmir pchutza. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, if it needs a shmir me'ula, when the owner knows that he's going to take it out of into Rosh Hashanah or whatever, he knows he needs a shmir me'ula. He's going to take a crew with him to make sure it doesn't do anything. So the crew is going to be an Aiden.
Okay, but each one is going to have their own how do you call it? Their own way of what they hold shmira.
Yeah, but according to Rabbi Yehuda, he needs a shmir me'ula now that it's a mu'ah. So the shmir me'ula, if he goes into to what's it called, to Rosh Hashanah, is going to involve taking a crew. If he takes a crew, you have Eidos now.
Yeah. Okay.
According to your mayor, you need much less. So as long as the kids can come and tell us, yeah, we were playing with it all day, but it was calm.
But either way, you're going to have some sort of proof. That's all.
Yeah, but according to your mayor, you only need a shmir pchusa for a mu'ad, so the kids will be enough. Right. You don't need a full Eidos, maybe. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, you need a shmir me'ula. Well, it's built in. If you have a shmir me'ula, you have Eidos.
Are you referring to the Mishnah on Mem Hey Beis?
Among others, yeah, why?
Because it's the opposite. Everybody
What?
agrees that Tam is a Shmir Ma'ula. Rabbi Yehuda holds a Mu'ud is a Shmir B'chusa.
No, it's based on the puzzle we just brought on with base. V'lo Yishmerenu is going on a muad.
Correct, which is Rabbi Yehuda's Shita.
The Yehuda's shita is that only a muad needs a shmir. Tom doesn't.
Needs a Shmir B'chusa. Everybody else needs a Shmir Ma'ula.
All right, listen, you guys are throwing around the key.
According to Rabbi Eliezer, you need to kill it. There's no such thing as Shmira on a Mu'ud.
Very good, Dovi. Mamish.
I'm teaching Akoinis, that's what I know.
Oh, I thought you were in Balozhin.
Yeah, okay. Convince yourself.
Listen, very good, very impressed. Anyway, I guess we'll get when we get there. We'll forget that we learned it here. Okay, but we'll try. But anyway, so there's a machlokes Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Shimon. So Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rav Ada bar Ava, halacha Rabbi Yehuda b'muad. The halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda by muad. Shari Rabbi Yossi maidulai, because Rabbi Yossi is maided to him, right? Because Rabbi Yossi said that it's 3 days. Halacha Rameir b'tam, and halacha is like Rameir by a tam. Shari Rabbi Yossi maidulai, right? Which means that you have to tinoikis. Basically, this is just a fancy way of the Chachamim saying, of the Gemara saying that we're paskening like Rabbi Yossi. That's all it's saying. We're paskening like Rabbi Yossi. Right? It's just using the other Ameirayim through Rabbi Yossi, through the other Tanaim through Rabbi Yossi. So that's what the Gemara asks. Why are you so busy that Rabbi Yossi is Maida to Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Yossi is Maida, and Rabbi Yossi is Maida to Rameir. What? And Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda are. Rabbi Shimon is chopped liver, right? Again, right? Why are you picking Rabbi Yossi over Rabbi Shimon? He says, I always go with Rabbi Yossi. The Rabbi Yossi nimuka imoy, because Rabbi Yossi, he has good sources. Basically, when Rabbi Yossi says something, you could take it to the bank. So that's what he's saying. He's saying, Enochanami, since Rabbi Yossi went like Rabbi Yehuda and like Rabbi Meir, I'm going with him. I'm going with Shita's Rabbi Yossi. Fine.
The pashtus in this nimuka imoy. Who's the Rav Shimon here? We're talking about Rav Shimon by Yechai.
Right.
So the depth of his svara was always way beyond anyone could understand. But Rabbi Yossi's depth, we could understand. That's Nimuka Imoy. We can understand the depth of his svaras. But Rav Shimon is way beyond this. So
Well,
that's
why who said that shot? Somebody says that shot. I remember.
I heard it years ago. I don't remember who from.
Yeah, it's very nice. Very nice. Fine. Iboilu. Then this interesting shaila that the Gemara asks. So what is mu'ud? Right? Shloishiyam de Katani, when it says 3 days, the Yehude Tura or the Yehude Gavra? Is it to make the shor into a mu'ud, or is it to make the Gavra, the man, meaning the boss, into a mu'ud? Meaning, is it the issue of a shor is a shor, it's an animal, right? So is it the shor that's going to have the issue, or is it that the owner of the shor has to make sure that he controls his shor? Right? What's the difference? 3 sets of witnesses come on one day, and they all say that this shor flew off the handle 3 different times, and it went and it gored 3 different times. So you had 3 different witnesses, right? Or sets of witnesses. So if you say, then where do you put the comma here with Misopik? Kamma. If you say that the mu'ud is going on the Tura, so then Meyayid, right? Because you had 3 people, 3 sets of Adam coming on, well, I don't know, are they coming on the same day, or there seems like they're definitely saying on a different days, because that's what we paskin. But whatever it is, 3 sets of Edom came and said that this shar gored 3 different times. And therefore it is. But if you're saying that it's not really the shar that's the mood, it's the person that's the mood, right? Then loy miyayid. Why? Because the guy could say, listen, it's very nice that 3 sets of Edom came to Bezdin today, but nobody ever told me that my shar is misbehaving. Right? Nobody ever told me my shar is misbehaving. This is the first time I found out. Right?
They didn't warn him at any point?
No, this all happened on the same day. They all came on the same day. They all ganged up on the guy, and they said, "We're all going to go."
But they all came to the Bezdin on the same day, saying that the animal gored, but nobody gave him hasra.
Right? There's no hasra. You're not right. It's not an isser here, so there's no hasra required. Right? It's his animal that's doing this. Same reason why he's not going to be chayav misa if his animal kills. He has to be kaifer. He's not going to be chayav misa because he didn't do the aveira. I mean, again, he's not getting the Tzaddik of the Year award because he didn't watch his shar. But yeah, they didn't come to warn him. So he says, you guys all ganged up on me on this one day, but so it's not fair. Right? So that's the difference is what we're saying here is if the mu'id is going on the shar, so all you need is you have three witnesses, 3 sets of witnesses that testify that this shar gored. Okay, that's it. That you're good to go. Right? But if it's going on the person and they all 3 come on the same day, then the guy could say, why should it be a mu'id? They didn't have the opportunity to know that my shar flew off the handle. So what's the din? So Tashema is a long raya here. Tashema, ein ashar nasa mu'id hachi yidu by bifnei bailim. A shar does not become mu'id until you testify in front of bailim. That's what David was referring to before. Meaning you can't just have a bunch of guys sitting in the coffee room saying, hey, this guy's shar, it's a mu'id. Right? It doesn't work. You have to actually go to Bezdin. Bezdin, as actually Bailim, it has to be in front of the Baal. You also can't go to Bezdin and testify about this guy's shar without the Baal being there. Right? So if they do the testimony in front of the Bezdin without the Bailim, or in front of the owners without the Bezdin, does not become a mu'id. Has to do both. The Gemara seems to repeat itself. Right? Bukhari didn't have to say that sentence. So he do
what
now.
What type of Bezdin is this? Just any 3 guys, or it has to be like a real Bezdin?
I don't think it has to be a Bezdin of 23 for Misa. I don't think. I think it's really any 3. I mean, I don't know.
Is it like our Bezdin, like when we do Ataras Nadarim? It's like 3 guys just come sit and let me tell you about this guy's shore.
I think it has to. Can it be done on Zoom? Right? I don't think it can. It has to be.
This is a real Choshen Mishpat Bezdin. This is a real Bezdin.
Yeah, but it doesn't need for 21. I don't
it's
think
not a Sanhedrin. No.
Right. Yeah. So anyway. So yeah, that's what you need. So now here come the variables. He do shnayim b'rishayna, shnayim b'shni, shnayim b'shlishis. So if 2 Edom come and they testify on the first time and the second time and the third time, meaning 6 witnesses, 2 each, 1, 2, 3. Harei kan shalosh idiyos. That's considered 3 different testimonies. Behein eidos achas lazama, but it's 1 eidos for harzama, right? Kederach of the Gemara, things are gonna be, nuanced, right? So, right. So meaning it's considered 3 separate eidos. Meaning, if you come and slug up 2 of the Edom, let's say the first 2 Edom, you come, somebody comes and says, by the way, those 2 Edom are a bunch of clowns because they were with us at the Boge, right? So then that knocks out obviously those Edom, but it does not knock out Edom set the Edom number 2 and Edom 3. That it doesn't do. However, it is Eidos Achas for Hazam, for the punishment. Right? Meaning, if they were all Zaymamin, then they're all considered one big Eidos and they're all gonna have to pay. Right? So we're taking it in both ways. Again, each set of Edom is a separate entity, and if 2 become Zaymamin, doesn't mean that the other 2 are Zaymamin, they're also. But if all three become Zayman, then they have to pay. Right? So now, Nimtza Kat Rishayna Zaymemes, let's say you find the first set of Eidim, they were Zayman, Hare Kan Shtei Idjis, you still have the other two. Behu Potter, Behain Peturim. And he, meaning the owner, is Potter from Nezek Shalom, because it's not a Muad, because they only have twice. Behain Peturim, and they're also Potter Alts Eidim Zayman, because they weren't, right, set of Eidim 2 and set of Eidim 3, they weren't disproven, so they're fine. Right, Nimtza Kat Shniya Zaymemes, and it's the same thing. If you have the second pair of Zayim, Hare Kan Eidus Achas, so then you still have one Eidus, because we're going to see you don't have the first and second, because they have to be there to pile it up. Who Potter Bein Peturim, and he's Potter, and they're Potter. Right? Nimtza Kat Shlisha Zaymemes, here's where the din changes. Let's say you find the third set of Eidim, they're Zayim, then Kulon Chayavim, they're all Chayiv, right, to pay back this owner, because they were scamming this owner that he would have to pay Nezek Shalom, because they all three sets of Eidim obviously got together to try and make this guy shor into a mood and then require him to pay full damages. Right? The Gemara is very marach here, and therefore that it says kasha for whatever reason the Gemara decided to say that. Okay, so so now, based on this price, again, the shaila we're trying to answer here is if muad is going on the shar or is muad going on the owner. So if you say that the muad is going on the shar, then this whole thing works out, right? Because you're missing the muad from 3 times. You're missing, you don't have any sort of edus on Tomei Beis now. Ella I amrali yude gavra. But if you say that the muad is for a gavra, leimru hanach kamoi, then let the first sets of edim say, Anan mihavi yadinan the basa shloisha yomi asu hani umiyadile. We came to say testimony that we saw this guy's shor gore somebody. Right? We had no idea that there's more Edom coming down the road. What does that have to do with us? Right? So Mamela, it has to be that the muad is going on the shor. Right? Because again, if it's going on the gavra, you need 3 separate days. And the guy can say, well, how are we supposed to know that in 3 days from now or 2 days from now they're coming? Meaning the shor doesn't have to be. When you're trying to make a shor or muad, it doesn't have to be on 3 separate days, right? The edus again, the edus has to. We said before it's already a machlokes whether it has to go on 3 separate days or 3 days. Here we're talking about that the testimony is all on the same day, right? So if it's testimony, if we say that the shor is the one that's becoming the muad, so we don't care about testimony in 3 in 1 day. It doesn't affect us. But if the testimony is going on the person, then you can't have testimony on 3 in 1 day, like we said, because the guy can say, I didn't know to watch my you didn't warn me 3 separate times, you warned me once in this day. So l'chayra, this price is a proof to that it's muad on the behema, and that's why all 3 are considered edim zayim. Fine. So Rav Ashi, 3 lines down on the base. I said over this whole Gemara in front of Kahana, and does it even work with if you hold that the shor is the one that becomes a muad for 3 times? Why don't we just turn the tables? Let the last set of Eidim say, how are we supposed to know that all these people standing in the Bezdin were here to testify about this guy's shor? We came to Bezdin to testify about this guy's shor. How are we supposed to know that there were 2 sets of Eidim before us who were clocking in that this shor damaged before our testimony? We didn't know. We had no idea about this. So why are we all lobbed together as one big Eidim Zayman? Right? We're here to be mechayim half nezik. Happens to be we showed up in Bez and they say, oh, you're the 3rd guy today. You're the 3rd guy today to testify. You just made him to a muad, and then you found out that you're a liar. Then they found out you're a liar. Now you're trying to say that they're trying to put you on the hook for everything. He's saying, no, I just came to do Chatzi Nizik. How was supposed to know any people are going to show up before me? The Gemara doesn't like that. The Gemara says, no, we're talking about a case. The Kameramzi Remuze. Right? It's talking about where they were doing hand motions. They were being meramas to each other. That, okay, your turn, my turn. So it was clear that they certainly were all trying to come to make this guy into a mu'ud, this animal into a mu'ud, and cost the owner full damages. Rav Ashi Amar, Kishabo Ritzufim. Rav Ashi says that's talking about where they came one after the other, right? Meaning exactly one after the other, right? Meaning that which Rashi says that since they were so close together, they had to have known the existence of each other's testimony. Ravina Amar, Ravina says, "Makirin balashar ve'im makirin es hashar." It's talking about, here's a different shot. They come and they say, we know that this guy's shar gored, but we don't know which one of his shars. Right? Meaning, I guess it had like maybe like what do they call it? They brand the shars with the insignia of the farm or whatever. So they say we know that this guy's shar gored, and this they say it 3 times. We just don't know which guy. So the says if you don't recognize the shar, so how can you possibly say testimony that this guy's shar is a mu'ud if you don't even recognize the shar? So they say the Gemara answers the Amri Tura Nakhana Isla Bakrach. You have shar that's a goring shar in your farm.
Herd.
In your herd, thank you. And you should have watched your whole thing. Right? So maybe that's a way to say that this guy is a mu'ud, meaning the boss, the owner is a mu'ud, because he should have watched all these things. Yeah. Yeah. So now there's a lot here. It's exactly what's going on. There's not an easy Gemara, because if anybody remembers from Makkas, they're only mechayev you if you already paid. Right? That's one thing. So what went on here? Did they pay? Did they not? Did he pay already? Did he not pay? Sure doesn't sound like he did pay. That's a machlokes Rashi Taisus. Okay, whatever it is. Let's move on to easier Gemaras. Yeah. Okay. Ibailu. Then another shayla. Hamishasa Kamma. We had something similar yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't remember. Hamishasa Kamma shechavere b'chavere ma'u. If you sick somebody else's dog against somebody else, meaning you have you know how to deal with dogs. So you go over to your friend's dog and you tell him to go chase and bite somebody else. Right? So what's the din? So Gemara says, Meshase vadei potem. The one that sends the dog out, that sicks the dog onto somebody, he's for sure poter, Rashi says, because it's a grumma. Right? But Baal Kelev Mai, what about the owner of the dog? Is he responsible or not? Can you say that he could say to the guy that got bit, no, what did I do to you? Meaning I didn't do anything to you. This guy went and took my dog and sicked him onto you.
Your dog, you should have watched it.
Right, well, right. So that's l'chara, the next side, right? See, this I'm not sure, David, this is the same time you're saying. Since you know that your dog is, people come over and can, get it excited, and it'll go bite people. You shouldn't have kept it.
That's not every dog?
I don't know.
No offense to dogs, okay? But I'm saying it's not every dog?
You can train dogs so that they will or they won't attack.
It's not every dog. It's not every dog. I have a dog. My neighbor had a dog, and one Yom Tov we went there, and it bit me. And they said, "Oh, it's a good dog. It's a good dog." Then it bit me. So I said,
"Are you trying to prove my point? Or trying to not prove my point?"
It wasn't their dog after that. So my son Aaron David hung the dog.
I thought you
Racham, I thought you were going to tell a story about a different neighbor with a different dog.
He killed it all. He killed it on Yom Tov.
Okay.
So if Ruben takes Shimon's gun and shoots Laban,
Kelly Bra. Kelly Bra.
That's a color, bro.
he's not responsible.
If he takes a gun, somebody else's gun, and shoots a dog,
Well, if someone takes a dog and incites it, it's basically like pulling a trigger.
is it? No,
Uh-huh.
Rashi seems to be learning that it's groma.
I understand,
Is it the same?
but it's the same thing as like pointing a weapon at someone else's weapon at you. I'm asking. I don't know. I would think it is.
As a southerner, I'd have to disagree. You have to be very responsible for a weapon, whether it's yours or somebody else's.
But you
A
still have to
dog,
do.
Dog too, no?
Yoni, Yoni, okay, we get it. You live in Florida, you have weapons. We get it.
Yeah, I'm not saying you can't come visit me. I'm just saying, knock first.
Just behave
But
yourself.
no, yeah, that'll be hard. But no, you race on the guy's dog. It's a gun. You pull a trigger. You're shooting someone. It's a big difference.
Yeah, but guns don't kill people. People kill people. That's how it goes. It's the same thing with
The
the
Gemara
dog.
Baruch Hashem
Guns-
didn't have anybody that was woke. No, I
No,
hear
but-
your question. I do.
Yeah, no, but it's interesting. Why is the Gemara saying that he should have sold his dog? Why can't he just watch his dog? Right? Saying, did
Because
anybody
you
gotta sell
Because
your
a dog that's prone to this, you can't really watch it. Maybe it's not
Even
watchable.
if you can watch it, why isn't this Asul the Gadol Kalarab Dek Basic?
Well, no, maybe it went off the derech.
So it's now a Kalavra. So you have to kill it or get rid of it at least.
She's saying that's what the pshat is because you can't have a kelev ra.
That's what I thought.
I hear. Maybe. Okay, maybe that's a pshat. But okay, but either way, that's the stardom of the shaila is the owner can say to the guy, hey, my dog is a good dog, right? Every dog owner that when the dog attacks, right? I'm sure they say that dog, yeah, he's a good dog. I don't know, you got on his nerves, right? That's what they're gonna say.
I don't think that's the Taina. The Taina is not my dog's a good dog. The Taina is I did nothing here. Where do I come into the picture?
Okay, what I'm saying, yeah, okay, you're right. I'm
He
exaggerating.
knows it's a bad dog.
Right.
That's the second Taina is. So I don't care if you had anything to do with it or not.
Right.
You shouldn't have owned this dog. If you own this dog, you're a guy. You're more than a guy.
The other side. That's the other side. Let's just get that's right. We got to present both sides, right? So
there's no machlekes about it being a kelev ra. He's masking it to that dog. I just had nothing to do with it.
1 second. And if the dog attacked without being sick, then what?
Then he would be. He has no taina. That's mammon amazik.
Then he's certainly chayav.
He's definitely chayav. Well, it's mammon amazik.
It's gonna depend on if there was a shmira.
No, it's Karen. Whether there's a shmira or not. Well, you're saying it could be an inus.
What happens if a guy breaks into he has the dog behind the fence and the guy breaks his fence down or whatever, breaks and takes his dog out of there?
So that's Hakainus, the first Mishnah.
Yeah.
So the guy who breaks it and takes it out is going to be chayiv. He's not just a gairim anymore.
Right. So then that's not his case. So then this case has to be where the owner was a little bit liable because the dog had to have been accessible to the guy who sicked it. Unless maybe it happened in the reshus of the dog owner. Could that be?
It could be.
Maybe. I don't know. Either way, but those are the two stadim of the Shiloh. So Amar Reb Zera, Toshima, Betam, Sheyu Atinoikis Memashrim Boy Ve'ein Nogach. Right. So what is according to Rameir in the Mishnah? How do you become a tam? The kids are hacking it at Chainik, right? Memashrim Boy Ve'ein Nogach, and it doesn't core. Mashma Hanogeach Chayiv. It's mashma that if the kids are making it meshuga, and it goes and it gores the kid, then you're going to be chayiv. It's a very strong raya, right? Again, our Mishnah says, how do you get a shor from not being a tam? Right? If you mess with it and it doesn't gore, mashma if it does gore, He's going to be chayiv, right? The owner could say, "What do you mean? I didn't do it. These kids were messing with him." Elamai, we don't say that, and the owner's is chayiv. So Rabbi says, no, you can't say that from our Mishnah. Mikatani noga chayiv. Does it say in the Mishnah that if the kid started up with the ox and it gored, he's chayiv? Maybe if it gored, it's not a tam, it's still a muad. But when he negicha le'mechayiv, but with that negicha, he's not going to be chayiv, right? Fine. So then Tashema.
So one second, when a kid plays with it, it's poking around, but when an adult does it, it's called inciting. It's called mashasa.
It's the same thing with the Arabs, right? If the Arabs start up with the Yidden, so then they're just having a good time. When the Yidden start up with the Arabs, we're inciting. No?
Okay, yeah, I guess. I
don't know if that's a precedent. I don't know.
I'm saying when the kids touch it, it's poking, but when the adult does it, it's
the Gemara is saying that it is inciting. I think the Gemara means it's inciting. The Gemara is just saying you can't bring a raya from. We wanted to make a diak from the Mishnah that we said that if the kids incite it and it doesn't gore, it becomes a tam. Mashma, that if it does gore, you're going to be chayev. Now it's that Rava Abai is saying, who says? It doesn't say that if it does gore, you're going to be chayev. It's just not going to be a tam. It's still going to be a muad, but it doesn't mean you're chayev because it was incited. Meaning he's saying lav dafka is your diak correct. The diak was, if it did gore, you're chayev, right? That's what we wanted to say the diak. And Abai saying, no, that's not the diak. If it gored, it's still a muad. It's not going to be a tam, but it doesn't mean you're chayev because it was incited. That's the way Abai is answering back. So Toshima, Shisa by Sakelev, Shisa by Nachash Potter. Right? If somebody sicked a dog onto somebody or a snake, he's Potter. My love, Potter, Mishasa, V'chaya, Balakelev. Balakelev, right? The Mishasa is Potter, and the Balakelev is Chayes. They say, Lo, Ema Potter, Af Mishasa. Right? That was the Gemara yesterday also. Meaning, put in the word Af Mishasa, not Potter, Mishasa. Right, we thought that it says Potter is going on the Mishasa on the one that sicked it, which is Mashra, that the owner of the animal is Chayev. Saying no, it means Af Mishasa is Potter. Fine. Omar Rava, Imtim Tzalaymar Mishasa Kalbo Shel Chavere V'Chavere Chayev. If you say that somebody who sicks the dog of his friend against a different friend is Chayev, meaning answering our question that the owner is Chayev, Shiseu Hu Ba'atzmoi Potter. But if a guy sicks a dog onto himself, right, then meaning he was trying to sick the dog onto somebody else, and then this dog got smart and said, "You're trying to start up with me, I'm going to come right back after you." Right? So then he's Potter. My timer. Kalamashanu bo achar b'shina boy Potter, because we had this a few blot ago. If somebody does a shinui in Rishus Harabim, right, and then somebody else does a damage with a shinui, so meaning it's a double shinui, then you're Potter. Right? Meaning, what happened here? Sicking a dog is not a normal thing. Right? And then for the dog to go back on the person that's trying to send it out is also an abnormal thing. So Mamela, even if you say that when a dog gets sicked onto somebody, the owner is chayiv, but if it goes and it double crosses the sicker and it goes back at him, then that's a shinoi on a shinoi of damage, and you're potter. Right? We have a member from Rish Lakish like you. You have two cows in Rosh Hashanah. One is crouched and one is going. So the one walking kicks the cow that's crouched, that is potter. That makes sense, right? Your cow is sitting in the middle of the street. Comes along another cow and kicks it. So avada your potter. Who asked your cow? Who asked you to put your cow smack dab in the middle of the street? But ravutza b'mahaleches. But if the one sitting down, the one crouching on the floor, kicks the one that's walking, so then he's chayav, because what does that have to do with anything? Right? So what do you see? That is the reason why the cow kicking the one that's sitting on the ground is because it's a shinoi on a shinoi, meaning your cow should not be sitting there. That's a shinoi. And my cow kicked your cow, which is also shinoi. So Mamela, Shinoi on a Shinoi is Potter. Right? That's what we're thinking. Rish Lakish agrees with this din. Amarle says, no, Anoa Bahicha Yuvim Mechayim. Rava said to Rav Papa, in that case, I would be Mechayiv the cow that's walking and kicks the one that's crouching. Why? Meaning you're thinking it's a Shinoi on a Shinoi. Because I'm going to say, Damrina, like he is like you have permission to walk on top of me, meaning the cow, if it could talk, or the owner of the cow that's sitting on the ground in the middle of the street, can say, yes, you stepped on top of me, you're within your rights because I'm in the middle of the street. But levaute be less like rishusa, but to kick me, that you don't have rishus. I mean, don't kick me when I'm down. Right? That's essentially what it's saying. Don't kick me when I'm down. Meaning, if I'm laying in the street and you step over me, hey, I deserve it. But to kick me, what gives you the right to kick me? Right? So therefore, it's not necessarily the same case. So it's not necessarily a shinui on top of a shinui. Okay, we'll stop over there. Let's say Tillim.